All right, class, here's a quick video on some key vocabulary around polynomials. We'll need to know these vocabulary terms as we talk about polynomials, as we add them, subtract them, multiply them, factor them, all kinds of things we'll be doing with these things called polynomials going forward this semester. And I'll just start with a couple of examples and explain the vocabulary as we go. This will be quick. So here's an example of a polynomial. Negative 3x to the fourth plus 2x squared minus 5. What makes this a polynomial is that the variables are bases of exponents. Notice that the variable is down here. There's not a variable up in the exponent. And then the next thing that makes it a polynomial is that the exponents are integers. Notice that this is an integer, it's 4. It's not 4.1, or it's not negative 4. It's a whole number. It's your counting numbers that are positive. So that makes us a polynomial. Well, with polynomials, there's some keywords. The first one is term. So terms, let's do this in red. Terms are separated by addition. So here is one term. Here's another term, because these two are separated by addition. Now, the last term is negative 5. Let's think about why that is. Because there's like an imaginary plus here, right? 2x squared minus 5 is the same thing as 2x squared plus negative 5. So our three terms are negative 3x to the fourth plus 2x squared minus 5. Those are our three terms. So the definition here, terms are separated by addition. Now, this polynomial has three terms. Anytime we have a polynomial with three terms, it has a special name. It's called a trinomial. Tri as in three, so it's a three-term polynomial. Okay, next. The next thing about a polynomial is the leading term. The leading term is the first term. Well, it's the first term if the powers are in descending order. Notice that our exponent is 4 and then 2 and then our last term. We start, oh sorry, did I say ascending order? I meant descending order. So we started with our largest exponent and worked our way down. 4 is bigger than 2. Because these terms are written in descending order, then the very first term in green here is called the leading term. Within the leading term, in orange, we have the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is the number that the variable is being multiplied by. Leading coefficient. So the leading coefficient is negative 3. One other key important term within the leading term is the degree. In purple, the degree is this number 4. It's the largest exponent in the polynomial. So this is a fourth degree polynomial, and more specifically, it's a fourth degree trinomial. The largest exponent is the degree. Next, the very last term, that if it doesn't have a variable, it's called a constant term. So negative 5 is the constant term. It doesn't change. It has no variable. So it's always negative 5 no matter what x is. Those are the key vocabulary words around polynomials. Let's look at one other example. How about 2x squared y plus 3xy squared. Okay, here's another polynomial, but this time this polynomial happens to have two variables. That's okay. You can have a polynomial in more than one variable. How many terms are there? Well, you guessed it, there are two terms. Remember, terms are separated by addition. There's two terms. Well, a two-term polynomial is called a binomial. Bi as in two. Binomials and trinomials are the only two polynomials that have a special name. So if we have 4 terms, we don't call it a quadnomial. It's just a polynomial with 4 terms. Now, this particular binomial is written in descending powers of x or ascending powers of y. Notice that it's descending powers of x. We have x to the second, and then there's like an x to the first here. The powers are going down for x, whereas they're going up for y, so ascending powers of y. Last one to talk about. What about 2x minus 3? 2x minus 3. This is another binomial. It has 2 terms. The first term is 2x. The second term is negative 3. Binomial. 2 terms. What's the constant term? Yeah, the constant term is negative 3. It has no variable. The leading term is, of course, this first one. This is the leading term. What's the leading coefficient? The leading coefficient is 2. Now the tricky one, what's the degree? What's the degree of this binomial? Well, remember, the degree is the largest exponent of x. Yes, the degree, if you guessed it, is 1. There's like a 1 there. So this is a first degree binomial. All right, that should be all you need to access your homework and to be able to talk about polynomials going forward.